Can I tell you guys something?
No.
Thank God I do not have to wait for your consent on this one.
Get an earful anyway.
I learned today that my youngest son knows what Ligma is.
What's Ligma?
Ligma balls! Oh, I can't believe that actually fucking worked. No, so he's in the back seat of the car, and my oldest sets that same joke up. But my youngest was like, Brendan, I know exactly what that word means. It means something about penises. And all I can think is, he's eight. I gotta find a way to curb this. How do I curb this? I can't, because right now my physical reaction is that I'm giggling. Welcome to the Save vs. Poison podcast, the podcast dedicated to gaming, general geekery, and enduring sobriety in an ever-maddening society, with your host Will and two guys that probably live under his stairs. If you're an addict, know an addict, or are just interested in exploring the outer mysteries of geekery, you're in the right place. Without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name is Will. I'm your host for this, the 21st episode of Season 4 on the Save vs. Poison podcast. Just got back from convention, feeling energized, feeling like I've got a little bit of momentum, even though the con was not what I expected it to be. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Before that, joining me tonight in an effort to rehab his image as insensitive, he has taken to trying to give out free coupons. Unfortunately, every one of them has been for 20% off your first month at Jenny Craig. He's our friend Tiki.
Yeah, you know what I did too? I tried this originally before the Jenny Craig ones was half off free hugs. And,
in the lingerie section at the local Walmart?
Where, you know what? Wherever I get wherever I thought I could make a difference.
50% off of free hugs? Fuck,
Yep.
That's a deal. That's that like it was said earlier, that is an entertainment value, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about that. Also joining us tonight, he once took a bite out of every donut in the display of a local grocery store. When confronted, he stated that he thought these were samples and asked, "This isn't just a small and strangely empty Costco?" He's my friend Steve.
Yeah, they're samples.
Post hoc justification. Yep, they're still samples. I don't care what the security guard / police officer said.
There are a lot of other ways that could have gone too. It could have been sitting there like grabbing every donut and licking the inside of the hole.
Yeah,
like,
just
like
Me and
practice.
Ariana Grande.
This is for practice.
just every one
Wait
of
a
the
minute.
Bismarcks just like squeezing just the pudding
wait,
out.
I like Bismarck.
This isn't the Adam and Eve store. What the hell are these then?
I don't like Long Johns. I like Bismarck.
Yeah, that's why I said Bismarcks, man.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. You like the classic shape. You don't want anything that long in your hand.
Makes me feel bad.
Makes you feel bad. Feels bad, man. It's a feels bad man moment. Good evening, my two friends. How are you, Steve?
I am mostly all right.
Mostly all right. What do you mean mostly all right? You gonna
A
join?
bit of a headache.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. That's not too bad. That's all right.
Yeah.
Headaches
So
can be
that-
managed.
Things are good.
Did you take some kind of a suppository for it?
Yeah, it's way up there.
I did get a Rick Sanchez visual from that. Just way up there, Morty. I saw it in my mind's eye. Well, I'm sorry that you got a headache, man. That sucks. That's a bummer. I hope that it goes away soon.
Yeah.
Rapidly. Everything else all right, though? Had a good weekend?
Yeah, I had a pretty low-key weekend, which was kind of nice. Didn't do a whole lot. I did watch a good movie, not a bad movie. I watched All Quiet on the Western Front, Netflix one.
What night did you watch it on? Did we watch it at exactly the same time?
Probably.
Did we an American
I
Tail
stared into
this?
the sky and I thought of you as I
I
was
thought of
watching
you.
people be blown to bits.
I was doing the exact same thing. Somewhere
That's what I
out
always think
there,
of.
we're watching Germans explode. I watched that on, oddly enough, at the convention on Thursday night because
No, we didn't watch it the same night then.
okay, that's a bummer. It would have been
a moment.
wonderful serendipity if that had been the case. Well, good, man. Good.
No, but I liked it. It was good.
Yeah.
So I planned on watching it anyways, but one of the driving forces for me watching that movie was some ridiculous humans, slightly unself-aware take on it, which was it's leftist propaganda talking about how war is bad. Yeah,
Read the damn novel.
I mean,
war is bad.
The leftist propaganda. War is bad no matter.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it was a weird tweet.
Well, there was somebody like what was it? I remember a good friend Russ and I were talking one day with somebody else at a bar. This lady at a bar, and I think I was actually trying to impress her with my brain, and she's like. She's like, war never solved anything. And I was like, that's not true. Wars have solved all sorts of things. They've solved border disputes. They've solved trade imbalances. They've solved resource allocations. Yeah, I mean, in reality, war solves a lot of problems. How it gets, it's the how you make sausage kind of thing,
And the consequences of that war.
Mm-hmm. No, don't get me wrong. It can solve quite a bit, but in order to get to the end of that equation, like how do you solve for that? Yeah, that's the problem.
I feel like there's this blind spot, especially in modern politics, where like people don't understand that all authority is derived via force. Like, might makes right is a philosophically terrible true thing. Like, you should not want it to be the case. Rule of law should be what should govern, everyday, life and interactions between government and populace, right?
Right.
But the idea that government isn't going to enforce their laws via force at the end of, like, if I don't pay my taxes for long enough, men with guns show up at the door. If I break a law, men with guns will show up at the door. Like, that's not controversial. Violence does solve problems. It leads to more problems down the road oftentimes. And they're not always, easily solved by any other metric. But, like...
So we have a council meeting every 2 weeks of the elders who all sit it aside. They could bring up measures and they can vote then and there. I thought we were living in a collective.
Oh, God.
Oh,
yeah.
You're full of yourself.
You're fucking full of yourself. All I know is that if my HOA could have armed men that show up when I don't, when my lawn's not mowed appropriately, they would do it.
They would, yeah.
Fucking HOAs.
I think that's not. I don't think that it's always force. I think it can be leverage. Things can be leveraged, and you can take away things through monetary means, or you can give incentives through the same, kind of like social engineering, and you can wind up with, where force isn't necessary because you can apply pressure in other ways. You're just like, well, you know what? Fine, fuck it. We're not going to build a hospital in that part of town. Those people are poor. They don't pay their taxes. We're going to move the hospital over to this other part of town, and let these people just kind of suffer. And that's honestly, I mean, that was actually like just the 60s and 70s, even through the 80s. That was the way that the governments functioned throughout this country. That's why you had so many ghettos and so many. That's why. How do you think you get Detroit? Exactly.
The invention of refrigeration.
I was gonna say Detroit, not necessarily refrigeration, but I was actually gonna then pivot to, because you have crime, you have all these problems and poverty, and clearly economy isn't doing the trick to solve your problems, so you switch to violence and you get RoboCop.
Yeah.
That's the lesson.
Yeah, that's all, and that's always the lesson, especially since we know that Kurtwood Smith ends up as the big bad guy in that movie, and I'm there for it. Dumbass. Yeah, that's 100% right. Well done. Yeah, the city of Detroit is basically just Eric Foreman.
It's an entire movie based
on really what I took from the story when I watched that movie.
That's what I did too. I was like, you know what? Someday they're going to make a sitcom out of this.
I was
starring a plucky, precocious 16-year-old.
What I took away from that was basically try and get yourself a really good partner, at least average, slightly above average, someone who is not going to get you killed repeatedly. And then just act like they're concerned when you're turned into a damn cyborg. Murphy, is that you?
Murph!
You left me to die in a warehouse full of bad guys. What do you mean is this me?
Of course it is, creep.
Get out of the way.
Oh, Peter Weller.
Yep, he was amazing.
He was, still is, you son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of things that still are. My name's Will. I'm an alcoholic.
My name is Tiki, and I'm an alcoholic.
My name's Steve. I'm not an alcoholic. But once at a movie theater, I drank the wrong drink, and it was not from a friend. It was from a stranger.
Ooh.
That's happened to all of us.
Ooh, that has happened to me. I felt really bad about this for a multitude of reasons, and I'll tell you why. I once took a drink out of somebody else's water bottle at the gym.
So this is recent.
This was about 4 months ago. And here's why I felt, now this is a very human moment, and I instantly felt bad about it. I felt like a piece of shit. The person's bottle was a local adult that has Down syndrome. And my idiot brain, look at me when I'm saying this, please. I'm staring right at the camera. I felt like an asshole for this, so you don't have to excoriate me, internet. I was like, oh shit, what if I get... No, stop. That is
not how that works.
That's not how that works. That was an insensitive thing to even start thinking. You're a piece of shit. You should... Over to the squat rack, 50 more reps. I felt like such
when I did it, I just leaned as far away as I could. Like that was going to change anything.
Like
but
that changed everything right there.
Yeah, that was, in reality, I think the CDC was really worried about that during the COVID epidemic, and the pandemic, and that's why they had people sit so far apart from each other in theaters.
They were just worried you were going to steal somebody else's drink, actually.
Drinking out of somebody else's drink and spreading the Rona.
I still think I'm going to get it from a toilet seat. Much like
because you lick a lot of toilet seats.
Yeah, no kidding.
I just like to know what people had for lunch yesterday.
Nice.
This is an uncomfortable silence.
Yeah.
We all took that in for a minute.
I'm looking at the camera.
I thought all you're gonna say, because the problem with that whole, as far as like a skill set or a hobby goes, how are you going to know what somebody else had? All you're going to know is the ingredients. You're not going to actually know, they had Chipotle. You have no way of knowing that. You're going to go, oh, cilantro, some beans.
His pellet is really,
I'm telling you,
really
I thought
sensitive.
that until I licked the 104th toilet seat.
This was definitely Chipotle combination.
There's all that blood down there.
Jimmy John's really does deliver.
Yeah. Jimmy John's, they get those hot peppers on there, and then just put the handles on the sides of the toilet seat.
Pepperoncini.
Jimmy John's, would you like to sponsor us? Would you
look.
to be a
Chipotle, Jimmy John's, Anybody that eats Chipotle or Jimmy John's, we're looking for sponsors. We're always looking for sponsors. Are you kidding me? Get on it. Get on it,
You
everybody.
could actually give us as much money as we've made in the last 2 years.
Oh man, could you
Double.
imagine? We could actually afford to go eat at Jimmy John's or Chipotle. Not all of us though.
Yeah,
2 out of the
true.
3 of us would.
That's very true.
Shit, I forgot to ask about your weekend, Tiki. I'm sorry.
So
I totally forgot about that.
yeah, on the alcohol front, since we already went in the check-in, I guess we should kind of circle back to that at some point.
Toss it all in. Give me a fruit salad of your check-in and your weekend.
Chipotle
How was it?
The Chipotle burrito of my week.
Extra
weekend.
guac.
Extra guac. Okay, so my week was pretty uneventful. I've just been getting used to my new job, trying to insert myself where I can to be useful, while I'm still trying to learn and gather all of these pieces that I have to pick up. A friend of mine said she was going to go to. She said she was going to do like sober November. And I was like, oh, no drink November. She's like, oh, it's sober November. And I'm like, yeah, you're really splitting hairs here to try and get away with something. She's like, as long as I'm sober, I can drink as much as I want. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
I thought it was No Nut November.
I actually thought it was more about the mustaches with Movember. But anyway, it's a popular month for a lot of reasons.
It's a popular month for a lot of things, huh?
So the first, like the very beginning of the month, she like told me that she'd actually had a drink, and I was like, that's, I'm not here to judge. But like, I'm kind of like just sitting back listening, and then the other day she texted me she was going to go to a company party, and they had drink tickets. Like 2 per person, blah, blah, blah. She was going to go with her kid. And I was like, well, cool, go and enjoy. It was like, maybe, and I kept on throwing this, like, kind of suggestion out there, like, maybe don't even drink. She's like, I'm only going to have 1 drink because I'll have my son with me, and I don't drink and drive. And kept on going off about all these different reasons why it's not a big deal if she has a drink. And I said, okay. So that was like a Friday night, and then Thursday she started Saturday she started texting me. She had left her car at the bowling alley because she had too much to drink and couldn't drive herself home. And she had lost her cell phone in her friend's car that drove her back home, so she couldn't call that person to then get her car back. When she got to her car, somebody had drawn a big old penis on one of her windows with a Sharpie. And she was just like, really, really mad. And I was like, oh.
Somebody. I never get credit for that.
Wow. Yeah, like, I didn't want to be like, I like sitting there, I'm like, this is such a good I told you so moment. But I didn't say anything. I didn't.
You decided to wait to put it on the internet.
Yeah, you waited until your audience of 16 got to hear it.
Yep. Total 16 total strangers will hear about this.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point was that what I was getting at was that it was rather than the No Drink November, which is what I had referred to it as, and her interpretation was Sober November. Her interpretation basically comes away with that little bit of slack that I can still get away with something.
Sure.
And I was trying to tell her that it's like I mean, I get that you can have like 1 drink and you're not drunk, but you're not sober either.
Yeah. Well, like, we're always fucking looking for wiggle room, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what this. That's exactly what that was, and it wound up kind of just coming back and biting in the ass. And I'm like, I seriously wanted to have like an "I told you so" with her, like, hey, I warned you about that, and you got to be careful. But there are enough women that are pissed off at me in this world. Adding another one. So I'm just sitting back listening. But anyway, that's kind of like, that was like not my sobriety story, but somebody else's. And it's like I said, I can't do this for her. I can't control that impulse. And in reality, I mean, I don't think that she really has a huge drinking problem or anything. I think she just maybe went out and got excited.
Sure.
And was having fun with some friends and some coworkers. I think that's more of the case of it. But at the same time, it's, if my advice had been heeded at the beginning, which was go in there with the expectation that you're not drinking.
Yeah.
It might have been, you probably wouldn't have gotten a penis drawn on the window of your car.
Who knows? Maybe she was never going to be part of a universe where a penis doesn't get drawn in a car.
Yeah,
and by the way, I don't like it when you don't give me credit for my artwork. That's hurtful. All right.
You gotta start signing your shit. So yeah,
it's in the pubes.
I sign down there.
I just sign right inside the pube. All right, I make it look like a couple of hairs. All right.
So that was like I said, that's nothing. It's nothing on me, right? It's not like it's on my shoulders about any of that. It's like just I'm kind of hanging out in that kind of wait and see kind of state with everything.
Sure.
Anyway, I really hope that it's better for her. The other thing that did come up, and I didn't say anything about this either, is that her sister-in-law has actually had to quit drinking and is having had like withdrawals and all sorts of other problems and issues. But is now I think 15 days sober. And I was like, when she told me that she had like drank too much at this company party and couldn't drive home, I was like, so your sister-in-law that you're always criticizing for being a drunk, she's now ahead of you in the No Drink November thing. Like I had that text like typed out, little like smiley faces and ha ha ha,
moo ha ha ha. Yeah.
And then I was like, really going back to that. Is there anybody you don't want to have hate you? And that little voice in my head asked that question, and I thought, maybe not this person. Maybe I don't say something snarky and sarcastic and asshole-ish. I totally wanted to, though.
You know what? Here's the thing. It's satisfying at the time, but I don't think it would have helped her sobriety.
No, I don't think it would have either.
Yeah. Okay, so good job. Living uncynically. Well done, my friend. I'm legitimately proud of you, because this is one of those moments where like me trying to live my principles of living uncynically, they would be tested, and I know that you're not even like necessarily trying to do that, and yet you still chose what I think is a higher path. Like, yeah, sincerely.
I didn't. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't want to be. I just didn't want to. I didn't want this to come across as like a lesson that had like a sour note to it.
Yeah.
This is something that hopefully, I'm sure she's smart enough to like kind of think about these things on her own, and come to these same conclusions without me presenting it to her, in such an awful way.
Yeah.
So yes, kind of proud of myself. I did the mature thing. Don't expect a lot of that in the future, but I did it this one time.
But as far as like any cravings for yourself, you're hanging tight.
I'm good. I'm fine.
Cool.
I'm doing. Yeah, like I said, I'm in this weird kind of zone where I like with just starting a new job and keeping busy.
Yeah.
That's helping immensely.
That's good. The boredom is being staved off.
No. I'm still.
Oh, never mind.
Quite a bit.
Fuck, never mind.
There is a piece of the gaming that I want to talk to you about too. But
okay, all right.
No. The boredom is that's probably the worst part. I need to get out of my house more often. I already texted Fireball to see if he wanted to like, in my own subtle way, host an Avalanche game.
If he wanted us to host one, I mean,
if he wants to host one,
yeah.
He's got the house. He's got the basement bar for it. Geez.
Oh yeah, dude. No, I 100% on that, man. 100%.
Yeah, and that's something that I've been asking. I sent him a text about. I don't know that anything's going to come of it just yet because I don't know.
Feels.
I'm surprised I didn't get a message back that was like, "New phone, who dis?"
Yeah, I mean, it feels weird. Like, I want Fireball to host those. So if it's not like coming up or maybe there's like a lack of communication where he's like, dude, you can always just come over kind of a thing, which I feel is kind of like, if I just said, hey, are you hosting tonight on a night when there was an Avs game? Just, send a text, hey, are you hosting? And then, show up. I don't know. I don't know.
He's said as much to me, like, and Colleen's she's been really sweet about it too, but
yeah.
I still have like kind of like boundary issues. Like I don't want to violate somebody else's boundaries.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that, man. I
Yeah.
100% get that.
They're like, you can stop by and watch the game whenever, and I'm like, man, do you really want me?
Could you please invite me every time? Because otherwise I feel like I'm a leech.
I feel like I'm imposing. I feel like I get here, like I ring the doorbell, and you like open the door surprised that it's me, and I'm like, you left an open invitation. How can you be shocked that it's me?
It's like you expect to like have them open the door and go, oh, ooh, yeah, you? Are you sure that you were supposed to be who was gonna come over? Because we wanted our better friends to come over.
Yeah, something like
That's
that.
what
Right?
I always think that, and I don't know why. I'm literally the coolest person anybody has ever known. Ever.
I've heard that about you.
I've said it many times.
From you.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so that's my check-in.
That's a roughie. That's a rough one. No, I can appreciate that, bud. I can appreciate that. So for my check-in, so I just got back from Warfaire Weekend. It was a good Thursday, followed by an amazing Friday and Saturday, and then like the end of every single like good trip is always this weird place between wanting to get home because you've set your mind to getting home that day, but also having like the bittersweet feeling of like, all right, it's over and now I got to get back to regular life. So like the period in time between waking up, saying goodbye to everybody at the con, and then trying to get home is like, that's an unpleasant kind of period. And then you get home and you're like thinking about all the memories of the weekend that you made, or you're texting with people that you just met, or I don't know. I had a great time at the fucking con. I played 15 minutes worth of game. 15 minutes worth of game. I shouldn't have even brought models with me. And yet I still I maintain this is one of the best cons that I've had. So for the alcoholism check-in, I was tempted. There were temptations. There were geeks that were walking around with some of my favorite whiskeys. There were, there's problematic drinking at these events. That's part of why I wanted to have this podcast, was because I recognized it in myself, I recognized it in other people, and I wanted to talk about it. So there's problematic drinking at these events, and since this is the second convention that I've been to since getting sober, I wanted, once again, like I did last year, I wanted to engage. Beyond that, alcohol was one of two ways that I liked to move into social circles that I was not invited into. It's a really good way to bring people to me to say, hey, I'm buying beer. You want to hang out? And of course, because there's a problematic drinking culture, there's a lot of people that wanted to do that. A lot of these people are really cool people. So they would come to me. And for the second year, I haven't had that as a tool to be able to move amongst social circles. So I've literally had to think to myself, well, my crutch for making friends is gone. I guess I'll have to get a personality, which is not something that I thought I would actually think. But Thursday night, get into con. I help Tim Simpson, who's a friend who runs the Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff. I helped him set up the tournament hall with all the terrain and all that shit. We went to dinner that night, and I ended up going back to my room a little bit earlier than I might have if I'd had a couple of folks that I'd known or had access to. Them being there. I went back to my room, basically just relaxed, sat out on the porch, enjoyed my pipe, and watched All Quiet on the Western Front, which was great, by the way. I also watched Day Shift. If you haven't seen that, it's it's like in between being a good vampire movie and a shitty vampire movie, but it's got Jamie Foxx being funny, and there's Snoop Dogg ridiculousness. It was pretty amusing. It was a pretty amusing movie. I liked it overall. So I kind of had to work through some feelings about that, and I talk about it a little bit more in the interview that I had with Doug Hamilton, who's a friend of mine and one of the digital artists for Privateer Press. He's done quite a bit of work. Steve, some of his designs are in your collection. Many of his designs are in my collection. He's pretty friggin' prolific, and he's a great guy. Had a great interview with him. So check that out when it comes up as our season finale. Tiki, I'm going to ask you a question. Steve, I'm going to ask you a question. And this is something that happened at the con. So this one's kind of just for Tiki, but Steve, if you have any thoughts on it. So have you found that folks will come up to you when they find out that you're sober? They will spontaneously bring up, well, I'm trying to cut back, or I'm trying to do like that. Like, I don't know if they're seeking validation, or if they're trying to sympathize, or if they're trying to just relate. Have you had that ever happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like unsolicited. Like you didn't like start a conversation, hey, I'm sober, and then somebody brings up, well, I'm trying to cut back too.
It's a weird thing. I kind of relate it to the to like whenever like white people are talking to black people, they're like, I have a black friend. You know, like it's an attempt to relate. Like I get where you're coming from. I should probably be healthier. It's like you meet somebody who goes to the gym frequently, and you're like, "Oh man, I got to get to the gym too."
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's.
You started off with when white people and I puckered a little.
Oh no. That's what I think of.
I always talk to black people this way.
I puckered just a little tiny bit. I'm like, here it comes.
I have lots of friends. They're it's an attempt to relate. It's an attempt to bridge that gap, and it's I would actually I think maybe even equating it to like, you meet somebody who's really hardcore gym goer, and you kind of like, you want to have a conversation about something that you think they're interested in, or some like large part of their life that's an easy piece to have that conversation about. Yeah, I think that it's more that than like anyone being patronizing or.
Oh no, I didn't think it was patronizing. I just found there was no judgment attached to that.
It can be weird.
Just an observational question.
Yeah,
It's because it always like, I imagine that it happens to like a bunch of people. Like,
I will say this. I have like one of two reactions really. Well, maybe three. I'll start with the first one, which is neutral. You're like, yeah, I don't really drink, and they're like, why not? And you're like, oh, I suck at drinking, or I have like some sort of joke or reason. I'll follow up with it. And they go, well, okay, and
sure.
Like it's never brought up again. Like it's just okay, that's part of life, whatever. The second one is the people who try to relate. Like they're going to like tomorrow they're gonna quit, and also be like, it's like, no, you're not gonna be. It's fine. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to empathize or attempt to build that. Yeah. But then there's like the meeting women online where they're like, oh my God, you don't drink? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh. And it's like, well, that just killed everything. Like, what the hell? Why?
Thank you for your time and interest. I'll be moving on now.
It's exactly. It's it's kind of like, it's very frustrating. It'd be like if you're like, oh, like why do you go to the gym? You're like, I want to try and be healthier, and I want to build muscle and or this and that. And they're like, oh.
I mean, that's my reaction to Will.
It is a little. Well, actually, I'm not doing it for any other reason than that. Every 10 pounds I lost, I got a 1/4 inch of penis back, so I'm up to 3 inches now.
Yeah, there's a lot of weight to lose.
It was. It was. It looked like a pavilion in a dark, vast forest. You're welcome. I told my wife that I'm looking forward to going gray, and I hope that down there it just goes straight to white. so that it can look terrifying
Like,
in
I
low
am
light
Gandalf.
situations. Yeah, seriously.
Gandalf.
Seriously.
So yeah, that's where I would kind of I would just place it there. But yeah, that happens to me plenty as well.
Yeah, I was kind of curious. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did have a conversation with somebody, and like every one of these kind of conversations, they know who they are, and we don't have to shout out any other personal details. But had a conversation with somebody who put themselves on a timeline towards sobriety. Not they're going sober, but gave themselves they said, I'm going to go sober in a year. And it's kind of funny. I was standing there with a close friend of mine, my buddy Aaron, who's somebody that I've known for several years now. But I think that this event, I spent most of my time with him and the guy that I interviewed, Doug Hamilton. So shout out to those two guys. But I was standing there talking with Aaron and this other person. This other person talks about the giving themselves a timeline, and all I could think was, why not now? And that's what Aaron thought too. It's like, why not now? Why do you need a year to get yourself to a place where you commit to being sober? If you think that there's a problem with indulging in substances, is that problem going to be easier or harder to clear up in a year? And then finally, like the cynical part of my brain, all I could think was, this is like this. I feel like this is something that I did when I knew that I was drinking problematically, but didn't want to face it yet. Tiki thoughts?
I think I mean, I'm with you. I think all I can think about is moving goalposts. Like, it's just a recipe to wind up doing just that. We're just gonna move everything back a little while. Move the timeline back. Move the timeline back. No, I wouldn't. It doesn't sound like it doesn't. To your point, okay, if you want to quit drinking because you know that, or you suspect that you have a problem, why would you like have like this kind of odd plan that in a year you'll start?
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking at the time.
It just sounds disingenuous. But you know what? Maybe it'll work. Who knows?
Maybe, and we've said it once, we've said it a million times. Everybody's journey is their own. Everybody's garden to tend is their garden to tend. Like, what works for somebody else isn't going to necessarily work for me. What works for me isn't going to work for somebody else. So It's going to be one of those things where I'm hoping that they will stick to what they have stated, but I know that for me, if I had said something like that, I would have been a liar at the time. Now that's not them, that's me, and it's hard to not put your experience onto other people. So it's really important to remember that everybody's journey is their own journey.
Yeah.
But yeah, Steve, what do you think?
So my immediate thought was, when I was getting ready to go back to school, I used to make excuse, well, it's not the time, I can't really do it this, I can't really do it this reason. And finally, my sister was the one who literally said to me, stop being a little bitch. Those were her exact words.
Yeah.
Stop being a little bitch and just do it. There's never going to be a right time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my, I'm with you guys. My first instinct is you're putting it off to put it off to, it's and not to be harsh, but it sounds like an excuse to me. Why would, the chances of things being different a year from now than they are now, that you'll just be in a better place to do it. No, just start now. And you might trip up, you might fail, but that's okay. At least you started to try.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I say this as a master procrastinator.
You're still on the toilet.
I mean, I might still be on the toilet right now.
Might. I'm waiting for a flush sound.
You haven't heard me wash my hands yet. But yeah, so yeah, that's kind of my thought. Like, yeah, I think just do it. Don't wait. It's never going to be the right time. And like you said, it's always, chances are, and maybe it's not. Everybody's journey is different, to echo what you're saying, but I think you're right in what you said, is that you're probably lying to yourself.
Well, I said that I was lying. I would have been lying to myself, but
I think that's true for most people, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
I would agree.
Everybody's different, but chances are, that's why I said chances are, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, and this is so one of those things that's like, it's hard to tell somebody it sounds like you're lying to yourself.
I mean, yeah, but also sometimes you got to tell them, stop being a little bitch, right? Sometimes you need to hear that.
Yeah,
you do.
Sometimes you really need to hear that. Yeah, 100%.
And that's for me. I needed to hear that. I needed to hear, stop being a little bitch and just do it. And I was like, you know what? You're fucking right. And I did it. Now, obviously, these are two vastly different things. I understand that.
Yeah.
But that being said, I don't know. I think that sometimes, if it were me, I guess, knowing that you've gone through it before, and if you said, maybe not so overtly, stop being a little bitch, but hey, man, make sure you're not lying to yourself, something like that, might be something that some people need to hear. So.
Yeah. And yeah, at the end of the conversation, basically wound out to this person, profusely thanking us for our time, and me asking them to steel man my position, i.e., frame my argument in the best light possible so that I know that you understand it completely. And they did. So yeah, I'm gonna remain hopeful, and this is somebody that I keep in contact with throughout the year. So somebody that I'll talk to.
Might be worth.
And if they're listening to the cast right now, I believe in you.
Yeah, and it might be worth reaching out to them, in a little bit, since it is something you keep in contact with. Hey, how you feeling on that?
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is that year still a thing? Okay, gotta keep checking on you, buddy.
Be that annoying person.
I mean, I'm
waiting for an "I told you so" moment with this.
Yeah. I'm gonna draw a dick on your fucking car. All right. Here comes the marker. This is a permanent marker. All right. We'll have to use alcohol to get it off. And I don't have any alcohol. Yeah. So yeah, the convention went really, really well. I had a great time at it. Like I said, I played 15 minutes of game. There was Thursday night I already talked about. Friday, I ended up spending most of the day hanging out with during the day. Early on, I get up. My wife was coming in, so I get up, I work out, go back to the room. My wife shows up. We end up going down to the Marvel Crisis Protocol hall, where I'm fiddling around with a list build and figuring out which models I'm going to be playing with, and then end up hanging out going back to the hotel room with the friend of mine, Doug Hamilton, who I did the podcast with, and then after that going to dinner, hang out for several hours, met some guys from Oklahoma. So Jay and Uriah, if you guys are hearing this, I can't thank you enough. You guys were an absolute fucking highlight of my week. These guys were fucking hysterical. They were the most funny, ball-breaking humans I think I may have ever met. Just constantly. It reminded me of the way that, having Tiki and Russ and Fireball and Evil Genius Joe and Danny, all of us in a circle, all making fun of each other and all being really, really good-natured about it. It was that kind of interaction, and it was right off the bat. So that was great. Met some new folks, met some old folks that I hadn't seen in a while. And then Saturday, I get up, get my breakfast, get down to the tournament hall for Marvel Crisis Protocol, sit down with my models at my assigned opponent. I go, then he goes, then I go, then he wipes one of my characters off the table, and then I go, and then he goes, and then I go, well, not coming back from this. Congratulations, good game. That was 15 minutes. I timed it. And then I dropped from the tournament because I was like, you know what? I am in no headspace. I haven't done any fucking prep. The only person that I've played was Steve, and we were watching Tanny and the T-Rex, teenage T-Rex.
You did that to yourself.
I'm just saying.
I'm not blaming you. Don't project. Nobody
Tammy,
blames you for this.
It's Tammy and the T-Rex, unless you're watching the original print, then it's Tammy and the teenage T-Rex. Either way, it's got Paul Walker.
Either way, Paul Walker, Denise Richards,
Family.
and brain orgasms that are showers of sparks for whatever fucking reason. Weird movie. Weird movie. We laughed a lot, though. We did laugh. It just
seems like
a lot.
The best way to learn Marvel Crisis Protocol.
I had a really good time playing it, but every single person in that room, you know, I oftentimes make the mistake of thinking, "Oh, I'm a reasonably intelligent human being. I'll just pick it up as I go along. I'll just be competitive because everybody in that room was probably like either above or slightly below my intelligence. Not like a lot, like half a step.
I think the main thing you mentioned was
they were much more intelligent than me.
They also did the prep work, which is, pretty important.
And they did the prep work, and I did nothing. I walked into that hall thinking to myself, "Oh, I'm just gonna have fun and play," not remembering that, oh yeah, I'm competitive as fuck. And the instant that I start losing, if I don't have a game plan, I'm going to be very disappointed in both myself, the universe, and all the human beings around me. Which is exactly what happened. So, word to those that are wise enough to hear it, prep for your tournaments, folks. Do a little work. Don't be like me. Don't be an idiot like me. Because I went into that thinking, yeah, I'll just have fun. Secretly in the back of my mind going, I'm a pretty smart guy. I can do this. That's not how it works.
Fun as long as I win.
Yeah, I'll have fun as long as I smash your faces in with my Spider-Mans. Of course, that's not what happened. 15 minutes in, I was like, okay, well, I don't have any kind of the headspace or the prep work for playing today, and I dropped and ended up speaking for about 2 solid hours with a friend of the Twitch stream, my buddy Billy, who's also a Twitch streamer. Oh, he was a Twitch streamer. I think he's moving over to YouTube stuff. But he's a great guy. He does a ton of retro arcade games, plays a lot of MechWarrior Online. Had a really, really great conversation with him. And then went and found my friends Doug and Aaron and spent the rest of the day with them, and then took my wife out for dinner. And that was a really good Saturday. Afterwards came back to the hotel, had cigars with Aaron and with my buddy Tim Simpson, who, like I said, did the Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff, and Doug. And then Sunday, said goodbye to everybody and started moseying on home. So that was my weekend. It was really, really good. Like, I'm not kidding. It really was one of the best cons that I've been to, and I literally completely disappointed myself in terms of my adherence to playing any kind of games. Usually I get in, 6 to 8 games. I used to be super drunk most of the weekend and get in 6 to 8 games. This week I spent the entire time sober and barely played anything. Although, Steve.
Yes, sir.
They rolled out the new Mark IV Dusk faction for Warmachine.
I really think it's beautiful, and that's what I want to play.
I bought it.
Did you?
Yeah,
Nice.
just the starter kit, which is just one of the casters and two of the jacks. Yeah, I
Looks really
bought it. I bought
nice.
it. I would have bought you one, but money is tight
No,
right now, and that was my
no
one
worries.
purchase that I could.
I'm not. That's not what I was insinuating. It
Oh
was.
no.
I
I know. I would have brought you
I
one
saw
home.
the
Though.
preview stuff. It's the first one of the new stuff that I've been like, wow, that looks cool.
Looks so good. It's all. I've got it all upstairs. It's all magnetized and ready for paint, and we're gonna paint that on the stream. So I'm really looking
Nice.
forward to doing that.
Does it look good? Yeah.
Fuck, it was a really great weekend. Like meeting Corey Doyle and him in his beautiful Canadian way saying, "Oh, you want some Canadian flannel? I'll send you some. Drop me a line." It's like
What?
Are you serious? Yeah, all right, fine. I'll take you up on some delicious Canadian flannel. I would look good in that flannel shirt that you had. So I met this guy, Corey Doyle. He's one of the World Team Championship players for Team Canada. He is a brutally intense competitor, but he is so fucking nice and so funny that we got along right off the bat. He also went through a massive weight loss, so we were able to bond over that, and just so many wonderful people that I got to meet and hang out with. And if I'm forgetting anybody, it's not on purpose, not at all. But yeah, Aaron and Jay and Uriah and Doug and Danny Samuels, and I'm trying to go through all the people in my head. There's so many.
And the rest of you don't matter to me.
Fuck off. They all matter. You all matter. I'm sorry. They're not going to listen. I don't think they're going to listen to this. Maybe they'll listen to it.
They better listen to it.
But Corey was a fucking I didn't even meet him till like halfway through the weekend, but he was fucking funny. He plays puck too, so he was like, "All right, so next year you gonna bring your gear? You gonna bring your gear out and we'll get Doug out on the ice with us? Sorry about that." It was awesome. It was awesome. That was a great weekend. So yeah. That was my weekend. Those were my sobriety questions. Got the dusk stuff. Gonna paint that up. It's all nicely based and everything. So I'm excited about that. I want to get some Mark IV games in. Mark IV looks like a lot of fun, and this weekend being around a whole bunch of people that are that enthusiastic about the game. So one, I don't think that Marvel Crisis Protocol is anything but a beer and pizza game for me. Like the dice swings are just too much. Two, everybody being so incredibly enthusiastic about Warmachine and Hordes has made me once again want to play Warmachine and Hordes. So we're going to dust off the Scorn, we're going to dust off the Ret, we're going to start getting models put together that need to be put together, we're going to start getting paint onto them, and we're going to start playing some more Warmachine and Hordes, I think. Now that folks have returned to the game stores, I think it's time that I did some reps, got some reps in, and got out there. Tiki, you said you had something for gaming tonight, and Steve, I assume that you'd be interested in joining me in my Mark IV-ness.
No, the only thing I was going to bring up was follow up to last week with we talked about Hunt Showdown with the naked runs.
Oh yeah.
Russ and I did that like all through the weekend.
Uh-huh.
You just strip a character all the way down except for like one melee weapon and a med kit.
Uh-huh.
You have to run around the bayou, and we had a really fun time doing that. I killed a guy with a shovel. Like I killed another hunter with a shovel.
That's gotta feel good, right? You're like,
Kind of
I can't do it with anything that shoots bullets, but this thing that'll dig your grave, I'm gonna smack your head in.
Oh no!
The
Like
one random person who accidentally tunes into this and didn't hear the video game part.
So the thing about it is that we found that in all the towers, both the like standard kind of like sniping towers and the much larger towers that they have out, like the hunting type towers.
Yeah.
We were always like we've been finding for like weeks. We've been finding weapons up there all the time,
Uh-huh.
like in all these different towers. And for some odd reason, when we're like playing the naked game, running around with like a knife and a med pack, and it's like a tower going up there, and it's like ammo. That's all that's up here. Freaking ammo. That's all we found. There's a ton of ammo, and that was like a pretty frequent thing. If we could find a gun, we'd keep the gun and use it. But it became like a really big challenge to try and find the right weapon, get across the map instead of actually like go after the target. At one point in time, I had a silenced pistol and Russ had the Sparks LRR. We actually killed the bounty carriers as they were leaving the map because we hadn't gotten off the map in time and they caught up to us. We actually wound up shooting and killing them. It was
Nice.
It was absolutely hilarious. Like we had like no weapons on us whatsoever, and then like we're looking at these guys like these guys have got great stuff. So it adds a new aspect to the game. We don't follow. We're not looking for the boss. We're looking to get off the map. On the opposite end of it,
Yeah.
and it can be really, really challenging to, especially like there were times where I just hid because there were like hunters nearby, and I was like, I'm just gonna hide, like I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And even like same thing with some of the more larger zombie groups and stuff like that. You see like a pack of hellhounds, you can't go after them. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. It really, really was. I was just gonna bring that up. It definitely added like a new kind of play style to the game itself for us, added in a whole new set of risks,
Sure.
made us a lot more cautious, made us a lot more, just like whatever we could find that was a weapon, we'd pick up and take.
Sure.
So that was great.
That's great, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Mazel,
Russ
buddy.
Russ goes, I got to talk to Will about getting some rules on how we're supposed to play this now. So anyway,
I don't know, reinvent how, if you're finding you're having difficulty enjoying the game and you can find something like that reinvigorates it for you, I think that's awesome. Yeah.
oh no, yeah, I mean, I took a character from being the naked hunter. He and I actually both took characters from that point all the way up to like I think level 30 before we finally died in a gunfight with another team.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's really not that bad. Like you think about it. Like I played this character.
No, that's
from
amazing.
nothing
Are you
all the
kidding?
way up to this point, and all the weapons and everything I had on him was pretty much contraband.
Yeah.
So it's not like I spent any money on him.
Yeah.
So it was really fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm down with that. As an experiment, I'm down with it.
It is a fun experiment. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So
Cheers. Well, I kind of thought about like talking about the Game Pass, the Xbox Game Pass versus PlayStation Plus stuff. Steve, did you read up on that at all?
Just tangentially, just briefly.
Okay.
Not real in depth.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't do enough prep on that, but I was out of state this.
Yeah, I wanted to log on and, like I said, see what I know I have one of them. Want to see what I got.
Well, you should have PS Plus. Why would you have Game Pass? That makes no sense. You
Well,
don't have a you don't have an Xbox.
But I mean, I meant one of the tiers for.
Sure.
Plus.
Well,
Yeah,
so
that's
now apparently there's like a $15 and an $18 tier, like $15 a
Yeah.
month, $18 a month.
And I know it switched over, and I kind of forgot that were going to do that.
Yeah.
So I was going to look into it. Do a little actual research for this thing.
Mm-hmm. And then we didn't.
I just didn't. Sorry, I got
Okay.
distracted.
Okay.
I got distracted with war movies. Okay.
Well, to be honest, that one war movie, if I had not had other stuff to distract me, I could totally see that being like a big reason why I would have been depressed for an entire weekend. Yeah, All Quiet on the Western Front, great, well done. Don't ever want to watch it again. Meh.
I'd watch it again.
Not me. No reason to.
I like World War One movies specifically. There's not enough of them.
There's not enough pop culture interest in them.
should watch Johnny Got His Gun.
Yeah, there's another option. It's just
That's
leftist propaganda.
No, that one's Metallica. Metallica did the song "One" based on that movie.
Uh-huh.
The movie itself is actually more of the theme is more of the right to die.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really like intriguing movie. World War One movies. You want to watch the Lost Battalion with Ricky Schroeder?
That guy had a career?
Yeah, he did the Lost Battalion. It's
I
actually
watched
great.
1917. I enjoyed that one.
Well, you'll love
1917 was good.
You'll love the Lost Battalion. Then it's actually real. It's a true story. And yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
Okay, Lost Battalion. Done and done.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's, like, it's such a little known portion of history, I feel like, amongst I mean, I feel like anybody that's going to be like, yeah, I really like doing history on World War One is somebody that like is very niche. I mean, everybody skips to World War II because it's really easy to hate Hitler.
Well,
Well,
World
and
War II is also
reasons,
better documented.
Sure.
one of the reasons that it was explained to me too, as presented, whatever, that as to why it's a little bit less, gone over, is that not a lot happened in the sense that like it was trench warfare and they fought over tiny strips of land.
Yeah, the same like 200 meters of land for months at a time.
Yeah. So it wasn't exactly like a lot was going on. I mean, a lot was going on, but
it wasn't until the Americans. Once America entered the war and we actually convinced them to start moving laterally rather than straight forward, it actually shifted the dynamic of the combat altogether, and allowed us to the Allies, as they were, to outflank the German the German lines. And in fact, the largest movement of men at that point in time in warfare was there were 1 million soldiers with equipment, gear, and everything else shifted from the south up along the eastern front, not eastern front, but up along the western front, to counteract Germany and basically kind of create this massive flank. George Marshall was the one who actually coordinated that entire movement, which had never been attempted or done before. And at that time, during that movement, was when the Lost Battalion actually moved forward. Their cables got cut, and they couldn't communicate back via the telegraph, and they actually wound up separated from the rest of the Allied forces. I think they were like in the Ardennes or something like that, and they held for like, I don't know, something like 2 weeks or something like that. They were constantly getting attacked by the Germans, and they were surrounded on all sides. It was brutal. So anyway, watch that movie. It's a good movie, and it's a true story. It is actually what happened, but all of those things are connected. Yes.
There's a podcast by a guy named, I think his name is Dan Carlin, and he does a podcast called Hardcore History. Let me. I want to double check that real quick. Oop, not hardcore. That brings up a different search. My mistake. Yeah, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. So this was like almost the very first thing that I'd ever heard of in reference to World War One. Was his take on it, like the build up, the actual political conditions, the state of mind of Otto von Bismarck, the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, like.
Otto von Bismarck was long dead by that point.
Yes, but he apparently set up most of the tenuous ties between countries that allowed war to not happen, and then upon his death, things started to fall apart. And then once Franz Ferdinand was murdered, that's like there's some people that I've heard have thought, what if Otto von Bismarck had still been alive at the time of that? Would
like 50 years after he died. I mean, the man would have been 130.
Or somebody like him.
Anyway, the main thing that Otto von Bismarck, my favorite quote from him is when they asked him, what is the next like, I think 50 years hold?
Yeah.
For Europe, and he was like, everything should be fine. What did he say? He said everything should be fine unless some damn fool thing in the Balkans sets off a powder keg, which is exactly what happened with the assassination of the Duke.
Yeah.
It was like that exact thing. Was the Balkans? Something happened in the Balkans and it set off a powder keg with that ignited the entire war.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting. There's actually some pretty cool stuff that I've read or I've listened to that's about World War One. I think the weirdest one is definitely the shell shock. Like just how the different soldiers were affected differently by what had happened to them, and you can see video footage of a guy who's absolutely terrified, like terrified of his uniform.
Huh.
Like when they present it to him, he like freaks out and jumps underneath the bed and looks for a weapon to stab people with to keep them at a distance.
Yeah.
There's another guy who did that walking against the wind shit. Dude just did that all the time. Would just always look like he was walking against the wind.
Huh.
It's like the only way he could walk. Yeah. Strange stuff.
And on our new podcast where we discuss World War One.
Hey, well, it's slight deviation, right? It's not quite
Big time deviation.
Hey, we're all all right. So, Steve, you're basically over 40, right? Basically. But I feel like, examining old wars is sort of like something that like dudes do at a certain age. And I'm not sure if it's 35 or 40 or all I know is that I turned 40 and all of a sudden I was like, you know what? World War II is really interesting. And maybe World War I's really interesting. And also I like socks and sandals together.
Yeah. I've just got slippers right now.
Yeah. I'm wearing slippers right now.
Dude, I know, right? I got flannel pants and slippers. Like,
warm. Oh, it's like a uniform.
So I know, right? At 40, this is what you wear around the house now.
This is what I do. This is what I do. So, anyways, so yeah, Steve, you gonna join me for Mark IV goodness?
Very much so.
Learn the game. Get your Legion patched up.
Gotta get Legion patched up. They gotta tell me what I can use for Mark IV. Those lists aren't out yet.
So there's at least one for each faction right now.
That's out?
Yes.
Oh, I guess I'm not up to date.
If you go to, are you Android or?
Yeah.
Okay, so go to the Play Store and search up Privateer Press. You'll see the Warmachine app. They have a new app that looks like it's in beta right now, but it looks like it's going to be a lot better. Like a lot better. There's some interesting changes to the game. Some casters will have signature spells and then access to a spell rack that is a communal group of spells that the faction gets to have. So part of your list building will be that. Each army, each time you play, you will choose 5 command cards, which are single-use cards that you can plop down, provided that the mechanic is activated by something in the game. Like on your turn, one of your activations can do bleh. The movement has changed completely. The way that they do sprays has changed completely. The way that they do AoE has changed completely. All of it in an effort to speed up the game. The way that all of your units are now small base units are now 5-man units. Max?
Yeah, I saw that they
large base. Yeah.
I don't think I owned a whole lot of the really big ones, like maybe one.
But now, if you own 6 of one of the big units, you now own 2 units, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I'm excited about. There's some things that need some work still, and it's interesting. Talking to Corey Doyle, who's like I said, an amazing and really, really, really good player at the game. Listening to his critiques of what he thinks need to change were really fascinating. There were a couple of other players that the same exact thing. So Coach Chuck, who's a friend of Tim Simpson's and somebody that I'm growing to like and respect a lot. He had some really, really gruffly outlined but interesting insights that I'm would hope would potentially be implemented. It's such a great community, such a great game. I'm looking forward to going all in on all of it. Get back into it. So, anyways, you guys got anything else to share, Steve?
No, good.
Righteous. Tiki, got anything else for tonight?
No, this podcast has been pretty random. It's been fun.
Yeah, I've been okay with
It's been a little all over the map.
It has been, but you know what?
In a good way.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, in a good way.
And it wasn't even like it was Steve who synopsised and all sorts of crazy shit.
No.
What happened?
No, this is just what happens when you get 3 ridiculously interesting human beings in a room without any direction. Woo!
Now, at least I wasn't complaining about my dad's wedding.
Dude, that was fucking solid gold.
So funny.
That was so fucking funny. Are you kidding? All right, guys. Like every episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast, we'd like to shout out to the mutual support groups we hope you turn to in your time of need. Alcoholics Anonymous, AA.org, 212 212-870-3400. You're welcome, wife. Moderation Management, moderation.org, 212-871-0974. Secular AA, that's www.aasecular.org, 323-693-1633. Smart Recovery, smartrecovery.org, 440-951-5357. Women for Sobriety, womenforsobriety.org, 215-536-8026. And finally, for family and friends of addicts that need a little support in a group-type environment, there's Al-Anon Family Groups. That's www.al-anon.alateen.org or 1-888-425-2666. From all of us here at the Save vs. Poison podcast, my name is Will.
I'm Tookie.
I'm Steve.
And the three of us wish you warm, creamy regards. Good night, everybody. You've just listened to another episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast. If you liked what you heard, please follow us, like, and subscribe on Twitter at @VS_save, on Facebook at the Save vs. Poison podcast, and streaming live on Twitch at twitch.tv/SVP podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay safe, everyone.